I didn't argue. I didn't beg her to stay or plead for her to change her mind. I just looked into her eyes, felt the weight of the moment settle deep in my chest, and said, quietly but surely, asterisk, okay, if space is what you need, I won't stand in your way. Asterisk, I could see the surprise flicker across her face. Maybe she expected a fight. Maybe she thought I'd try to convince her to hold on tighter. But I didn't. Not because I didn't care, but because I cared too much to chain her to something she was unsure of. Before I share the rest, let me say this. If you ever had to let go of someone you loved deeply, someone who suddenly wasn't sure about you anymore, you'll understand the silence they leave behind. It's loud. It fills rooms. It hums in empty beds. It lingers in the spaces where laughter used to live. And if you're still carrying that silence, just know you're not alone. My name is Samir. For nearly 6 years, Mira was my world. We weren't perfect, no couple is, but we had something steady. We had lazy Sundays tangled in blankets, movie nights where we'd argue about what to watch but always settle on something we'd both seen a dozen times. Early morning coffees, hers always half-finished because she said she liked the ritual more than the taste. She used to tell me, asterisk, you're the calm in my chaos. Asterisk, and I believed her, every word, until the night she told me she felt like she didn't know herself anymore. It didn't happen all at once. It started with little things. Plans canceled last minute. Replies that got shorter, calls that didn't come. Less laughter, more distance. I thought it was work stress. I tried to be supportive. I cooked more, gave her time, tried not to crowd her. But the space I gave, thinking it would help, only made her feel farther away. And I didn't see it until it was too late. One night, after dinner, she sat at the edge of the couch like the cushion itself couldn't hold the weight of what she was about to say. Samir, she whispered, asterisk, I think I need some space from us. Asterisk, my heart clenched. Asterisk, you mean a break? Asterisk, I asked. She nodded, her eyes glassy, like she hated the words even as she said them. Asterisk, I don't know what I want anymore. I feel like I lost myself. Maybe we built this life too fast before I was ready. Asterisk, I think she braced for resistance, for tears or anger, but all I could do was nod. I stood up, steady even as everything inside me cracked. Asterisk, okay. Asterisk, that was all. Not because I didn't want her, but because I refused to make her stay when she was already halfway gone. The next day, I packed a few bags and found a small rental across town. No drama, no bitter texts, just silence, the kind that wrapped itself around my days and nights and refused to let go. The first month was brutal. I'd cook out of habit and plate 2 servings before realizing I was alone. I'd wake up reaching for someone who wasn't there. I'd check her social feeds just to see if she was okay, and she was. Brunches, yoga retreats, a solo trip to Muscat. She looked lighter, freer, like leaving me was exactly what she needed. I hated how mature I was being, hated that I wasn't storming back into her life, demanding answers. But part of love, real love, is knowing when not to force your presence. So I stayed quiet. I tried to rebuild, brick by brick. I went to the gym. I journaled. I sat alone at restaurants we used to go to and learned to savor my own company. I learned how to live with the silence. By month 6, I stopped hoping her name would light up my phone. Stopped rehearsing what I'd say if she came back. The healing was slow, messy, but honest. And then came month 10, a Friday evening. I just finished dinner, washing dishes, when my phone buzzed. Mira, my heart stopped for a second. I stared at the screen. Asterisk, hey, can we talk? Asterisk, the message I thought I wanted. Once. I typed back, asterisk, sure. Asterisk 10 minutes later, there she was. Same soft knock on my door. Same familiar perfume that pulled memories to the surface before I could stop them. I opened the door. She looked nervous. Tired, not in her face, but in her soul. Like life had humbled her in the time we'd been apart. She sat at my tiny dining table, the one where I'd eaten so many lonely meals, and for a while we both just breathed the same air, not speaking. Then she said it, The word she'd clearly been practicing in her head. Asterisk. I've thought about this moment 100 times, what I'd say. Asterisk, I didn't interrupt. Asterisk, I really thought space would give me answers. I thought I'd find freedom. And at first I did, but somewhere along the way I realized I didn't miss freedom. I missed you. Asterisk, her voice broke. Asterisk, I went looking for myself. Samir, but all I kept finding were pieces of you. The way you folded my clothes. The way you made tea just how I liked it. The way you never tried to fix me. You just held space for me. Asterisk, she wiped at her eyes, voice shaking. Asterisk, leaving you was the biggest mistake I ever made. Asterisk, there was a time I would have given anything to hear those words. A time I would have begged her to come home. But as I looked at her, I realized something I didn't expect. I'd grown. I'd become someone who loved her, but no longer needed her to feel whole. I met her gaze. Asterisk, I'm proud of you, Mira, for figuring things out, for coming here, for saying this. Asterisk, she nodded, tears falling. Asterisk, but I'm not the man you left. And I don't think we can just go back and pretend this didn't happen. Asterisk, I know, she whispered. Asterisk, I just needed to tell you, even if there's no us at the end of this. Asterisk, I reached across the table, not to hold her hand, just to let her feel that no hatred lived here. Asterisk, thank you for the honesty, for the closure, for reminding me how far I've come. Asterisk, she smiled through the tears. Asterisk, you're really okay now, aren't you? Asterisk, I nodded. Asterisk, yeah, I really am. Asterisk, she left quietly, just like she had 10 months before. But this time, the silence she left behind wasn't heavy. It was light. It was peace. Because sometimes real strength isn't in getting them back. It's in realizing you were whole all along. And when they do come back, you'll know the difference between love and peace.